Howdy, howdy, howdy. Thank you for joining me here on this lovely Sunday evening, first Sunday of January. It is, well, it may not be, whatever. But the fact is that it's a great day. We had about 2 inches of snow here near us. It's all warmed up and everything. But I think the best way to handle that would be to have our own in-house meteorologist join us, and that would be Mr. Clearwater Chad. Howdy,
Thanks for having
Chad.
me, Poe. How you doing?
Good, good, good. So you got a weather forecast for us tonight?
32 degrees in Clearwater, Buffalo, Poe.
Awesome. And how is Amadeo?
Oh, great, great. He's been making a lot of videos lately.
All right, so let's bring in the third part of tonight's broadcast. A good friend of ours, good friend of the channels, Mr. Mark Fisher from
Hey, everybody.
Peeling the Onion, our Scientology stories. So,
Hi, everybody. Well, you guys are going to think I'm a wimp, but we're 42 degrees here in Las Vegas, right? With the wind. It's windy. So the wind chill's in the 30s. I'm freezing. My dog, I got to keep the door open for her. And so I'm bundled up a little bit here, but I'll trudge through.
well, you see us. I mean, we're in our nice light shirts here already.
Yeah.
Lord, I went out today. It was 34 degrees. I was in a t-shirt and felt nice and comfortable, so it wasn't a big problem for me. So, who all we got in here tonight? I see we got Mark Andrew Demarest. How you doing, Mark? And of course, Best Big Sister. Hello, thank you for joining us tonight. We got so much going on. It's not even funny. Where should we start? Yeah. How about with our good old pal, Mr. Daniel Masterson?
Ah.
So the see what's going on with him nowadays. It seems that he has made it to his new destination, which is going to be where he's going to be staying for a while. Let me make this bigger. So this is from the New York Post. And Danny Masterson's prison schedule revealed how he will spend the next 3 months. To it's going to be a pretty big shock for the old boy there, isn't it?
I would think so.
Yeah.
I've never been in jail or prison. All I know is from movies. You know what I mean?
From going to be this Mr. Big Hollywood celebrity to now he's going to be enjoying some time in the same kind of clothing everybody's wearing in a gray bar hotel. So I hear everybody saying it, he got 30 to life, and he got life with the possibility of parole after 30. And it's, I don't think it's 30 to life because there's no guarantee that at 30 he's going to get out. He's got to be exceptionally good that he's going to be able to make parole at that time. So I don't think that that's going to be a huge thing there. So is that you that just posted in there?
That's
Mark?
me. I did, yeah. I just said hello.
So,
Testing out my chat.
what does Janice come in under?
Her name. It'll usually be Janice Gillibrand, yeah.
So what's the rumblings? Have you heard anything from the Scientology community about the whole thing with Danny Masterson? Or
I don't know. I mean, the biggest thing is to me is, now that he's in prison, right? I think he's kind of a little bit going by the wayside a little bit,
Right.
Well, obviously, people are wondering what's going to happen to him when he's in prison. Is he in solitary? Is he by himself? Is he in protective custody? But he's filed his appeal, and if I was Scientology, if I was Danny Masterson, let's put it this way: if I was Danny Masterson, if my appeal doesn't go through, I contact the authorities and say, if you guys are going after Scientology and Miscavige and all that,
right.
I got some information for you. Let's work a deal, and maybe I can get my sentence reduced. You know what I mean?
I'm surprised that hasn't happened already.
Me too.
But maybe if they're paying for his attorneys, keep your mouth shut till the time comes that you need to play the trick card. So that's we've seen it before. I mean, people have done that in the past. And especially with the new thing going on now that we see that RICO's been brought up in one of the lawsuits against Scientology. Hopefully that's going to start breaking down some doors to have the authorities start going after them the proper way on that. So, hey, Boda, what's going on? So, yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how that's going to be played out. And One Love, how you doing? Probably get the same kind of weather we are over there in Pennsylvania. We got a nice dust of snow overnight, but it all melted today. You know, a lot of people don't realize just how deep that the RICO Act can go into things. I mean, if they can actually prove it to the point where they can actually bring criminal charges of RICO against the Scientology organization, it's just, man, they can completely tear that place apart, and a lot of people can end up going to jail. And it's, man, it's no joke. I've seen what they've done. I mean, you take even the uh, what is it? The motorcycle gang, the Mongols. The federal government
Yeah.
went in and took their actual logo. I don't remember if they copyright or they trademarked the logo, but they went in and took their actual logo from them. Then there was the big hit nationwide on the Outlaws. So they've used it against quite a few organizations, and it's pretty effective.
Well, I
So
don't know if you know this, John. Scientology has actually used RICO against defendants, people that are suing them in the
really,
past.
I
Yes,
hadn't heard
against
that.
Wow.
yes, against other people that were speaking out or suing them and that type of thing. They
Wow.
basically they use the RICO statute to go after them. So it's not an unusual thing. They've tried to use that. They've tried to use other things like these anti-slap motions, which were not written for a group like Scientology, who's a defendant, to use.
Right.
From my understanding, they're basically a
Man.
different purpose for that. But you
Yeah.
know what? There's nothing that Scientology's attorneys and Miscavige and OSA won't do. They'll try anything because they're basically trying to sweat everybody out.
Right.
They don't care if a suit or if a trial takes 20 years. It doesn't matter to them because they'll just bleed them dry. That's their legal practice and what they do.
Well, when I was talking to Zach Morgan when I had him on a couple months back, we were talking about the whole thing with the how attorneys work, and it's actually that's part of when they take their oath as attorneys is that they have to explore every angle that they can and try every angle that they can to put a proper defense for the people that they work for. And a lot of people get angry about the fact of how things have gone with a lot of lawsuits against Scientology and how it seems like they get strung out. But that's the attorneys are just doing what they're supposed to be doing on that.
Well,
Uh,
and Scientology has a bottomless pit. They'll spend anything they have to. So
yeah,
they don't care. Even if it's frivolous and it gets thrown out, if it delays it a year, that's fine with them.
and that works well into their whole scope of things, because most people aren't aware that when you file a lawsuit, and this friend of mine who's an attorney, he and I had talked about this before, and one of his things is he's talking about how he absolutely loves litigation. He said, but most people are not aware of the fact that when you file a lawsuit, you're looking at the next 3 to 7 years minimum of your life that you're going to be tied up doing this. And he said a lot of
Mhm.
people, they just get so tired of fighting it that they're willing to take any kind of settlement just to get it over with and take some kind of W in their favor. So it's
Right. And most lawsuits don't end up going to trial. They get
correct.
settled or they get thrown out, one of the two
Yeah.
on the way.
So, oh, hey, Mandy, how's it going? Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to everyone. And Sharon, Mid Michigan. Whereabouts in Mid Michigan? I'm down by Detroit Metro Airport down here in Southeast Michigan. So I know you guys get it a whole lot worse up there in the mid part. I've got family up in Houghton Lake, and man, they talk about we get an inch or two down here, and they're talking about, yeah, we got 8. So they get slammed. And my brother,
We got 9 inches of snow last few days ago up at Mount Charleston, which is about a 30-minute drive, and that's at like over 8,000 feet. So,
yeah,
and there's a ski area up there. But we had some rain, and it was white. It was snuff. It was cold enough that in the mountains around us, just for about half the day, there was a dusting of snow you could see on them, and then it melted away.
that's got to freak you guys out down there. Just see,
Yeah, I like to see that, but I don't like the cold. And I don't mind like we're cold right now. I don't like the wind when it's cold because that's worse. It just cuts right through you. I have to walk my dog 5 times a day, and it's just like, okay,
well,
bundle me up.
There's been some crazy weather going on all over. Um, let's see. I saw something about it where in Mecca they were having a snowstorm at the monument there.
Wow.
Um, yeah, they are having a snowstorm there at Mecca. That's absolutely crazy. Oh, Genesee County. Yeah, I know where you're at.
Wow.
Been
For
up
some
there
reason,
many times.
I thought Las Vegas was really hot. I must need to get out more.
No, it
gets
is hot.
crazy.
It is hot, but in the wintertime, we get this is normal weather. 40
Oh, okay.
degrees
Yeah, I
is
didn't know that.
this time of year. And and when I wake up in the morning tomorrow morning, it'll be probably 38 degrees, 37 degrees. And that's kind of normal for a couple of months here. And then we have had snow. Literally, we've had snow on the Las Vegas Strip. Not often, but it happened about 3 years ago. And I have videos of the snow coming down and stuff. And it accumulated about a half an inch, and then it melted away.
Okay.
You got it pretty lucky here. Whew, we get it pretty deep. I'm working on a video right now. I made a snowplow for my zero turn.
Oh, nice.
We're expecting by in the next month or two, it's nothing for us to have a good 6 to 10 inches on the ground for the remainder of the winter. So got to have something clean that driveway off, and it's
I was just thinking about this yesterday. For some reason, I was thinking about this. Would I don't know, people who can afford it, I guess, they have like heated sidewalks and driveways. Does that
Mhm.
actually work?
Yeah. We're looking at getting our driveway redone, and before they do it, I was thinking about going in myself and putting in the PVC piping. Where it gets to be a problem for me is we've got 140 foot of driveway. So you're talking
yeah.
about doing S bends all the way
Yeah.
down the driveway, and I'm like, yeah, it might be a little expensive.
Maybe you could do the end of it in the beginning or something.
Well, the problem is we've got the straight driveway. We've got a straight driveway that comes up, and then we've got a horseshoe that kicks off to the other side. And combined, that's over 140 foot of driveway. I'm thinking if I just do the straight section, that's going to be probably around 80 feet, 60 to 80 feet of driveway that I'll have to do there. That'd be a lot better than doing the whole 140 foot of it. So,
Yeah, I just remember, like, when I lived on the East Coast as a kid, I mean, if you had your car in the garage and you opened up the garage door, there'd be half a foot or a foot of snow. You couldn't even get your car out. But I was thinking, if you heated your driveway, I mean, you'd only have to get it above 32 degrees, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be super hot, and then the snow won't stick; it melts, right?
a friend of mine, we did that for his, but he only had like a 30-foot driveway, and we literally ran 1 inch PVC piping. And when they poured the concrete, we put the piping in there. It's attached to, what is that? An RV water heater. It's a propane fired water heater. It's like the tankless water heaters. So as the fluid's going through it, it heats it up. And he set it, I think, at 50 degrees, and he put a pool pump on it to keep the water pushing through it. And we filled it with a mixture of antifreeze and water. And when wintertime came around and everybody else's driveways were covered with ice,
Right.
all right. So we've got, believe me, you've heard Roscoe on here enough times. So he's downstairs with Mama right now. So
Nice.
good old Roscoe.
Nice.
Man, he's turned into now that he's getting a little bit older. That dog is a cuddle bum, but man, he still barks his head off at everything. My goodness.
Well, my dog barks at anybody walking by the patio. So that's all.
Let a leaf fall in my yard. Roscoe is on. We moved the furniture around, so the back of the couch isn't directly to the window now. So you sit there, and when I'm sitting there, he'll jump on my shoulder, and he'll have his front paws up there and have his head craned out, looking out the window, and just going nuts. I got to be that Beagle and Chihuahua mix in him, man. He's just nuts over that stuff. Let's see, Sheeran. Heated driveways, never heard of that, which is strange. Yeah, I I don't know where they originated from, but it's actually becoming a common thing. It's expensive, so you gotta, we
They
were
work pretty
fortunate.
good in Buffalo.
Yeah, you'd have any place like Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, especially. My goodness. But anywhere where you're going to have ice and snow on the ground, it's great for it because it keeps the driveways nice and clear, the sidewalks and all that. So it's something we're seriously thinking about, and I really want to do because we've got to redo our whole driveway. Boda, I mean, it's not, no need to be jealous. You can do it yourself. If you're going to redo your driveway, just got to go out and get that PVC piping. I went to a junkyard and found a hot water heater from an RV and paid like $5 for it. So we just built a case for it all to sit inside of the propane tank. Sits, in a different compartment of it. And nice thing about it is when you pull in a driveway, you don't even notice it. So it works great. And it keeps that driveway nice and dry. And all he's paying for electricity for on that is for the pool pump. That's the only thing that requires the electricity. And he's got it set so that when the temperature drops below 32, or he can actually manually go out and fire it up himself, but temperature drops below 32, boom, it's on and it's going. And we only have it set at 50 degrees, so it works out real well for him. Let's see. One Love, I could tell it's Mark's dog. He has a very distinctive voice.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of dogs does Janice have?
They're Labradoodles.
Labradoodles, yeah.
Yeah,
I hear those are amazing pets.
They're really, really friendly, really nice dogs. She's got 2 boys, and there's a difference in age, but yes, they're really good.
What's that wild man you got there?
I'm sorry?
What breed is the wild man you got back here howling on?
Oh, it's a husky. She's a Siberian husky. Misha.
Oh, goodness.
She's my girl.
They've got what do you call it? Those dogs are known for throwing fits and everything, just being as loud as can be, whining and crying and all that.
Well, they talk. They like to talk. They'll, what I mean? Stuff.
That's good though.
But I know beagles. If you're Roscoe's a beagle mix, but I remember beagles because David Miscavige had 2 beagles when I was working for him, and they go oh oh oh.
Once a month we have they do the test of the tornado siren here. I think it's every Monday at noon. Once a month, Monday at noon, they do the test of it. And it'll sit there and that air raid siren's just going and going, and you'll see him, he'll stop, the head will cock, and then after about 30 seconds, he starts ooh, he starts going right along with it. So
I love the David Miscavige story when his beagle barked at someone. I think David told him, "You got crimes, you got something going on. My dog doesn't like you."
Yeah, that happened after I left, but I used to have to, he would go to bed at, all hours of the night, and we had to stay up until he went to bed. But when he went to bed, either myself or one of the girls that worked in our office, we had to walk his dogs and could not put them in his bedroom until they had done their business. And sometimes that could take a long time. So it was a real pain in the neck.
Goodness, you talk about living the life of Riley. Hey, Timber, how's it going?
Hey, Timber.
My goodness, that guy, he gets up, he gets fed his breakfast, gets his cigarette for the morning. I mean, he's got people in OSA and the org that are they're out there working themselves to death, 18, 20 hours a day, and he's getting up all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. My goodness.
It didn't matter though, whatever time he went to bed. If he went to bed at 3 or 4 in the morning, we would go to bed then too, but we would have to be up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and he'd sleep till noon because, we had to stay on schedule, you know what I mean? But he could do whatever he wanted.
That's crazy. And I saw that looks like the judge has gotten a bit perturbed with all the motions and briefs that are being filed in the Leah Remini case. That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's like I was telling you how Scientology basically tries to run out the clock, and Leah's been countering them. It's basically going like this, and the judge is going like, there's more stuff here than I need to look at, and it's going to be a paper battle. You know what I mean? Big time.
The thing about it is, and we all know, Leah does not back down from a fight. It's just she's they're seriously, I don't know if they realize just what kind of fight they've gotten into with her, but she's not the kind that's going to back down.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, if it gets to the point where the judge allows them to depose, people in Scientology, including Miscavige, that's when they're going to want to settle, or they're going to want to make her an offer to make it go away, because there's no way that David Miscavige will ever go under oath again. He was under oath back in the 1980s in a couple of lawsuits, and went terrible. But then he's done so many other things since then that people just start asking him about these things, and he'd be lying, and they'd basically be able to get him for lying under oath. So that's why he puts in so much effort and security to avoid being served lawsuits. And it's a game he's been playing for years. And now I think he's been served in a couple of lawsuits, right? Am I wrong? Right? Even
as far as I know, he's been served, I think, twice now. So
yeah, so he'll still fight it and appeal it and drag it out, just like I said. But when it actually gets down to brass tacks, where he has to show up and be deposed, that's when the wheels will get going. Because the Marty Rathbun's wife's lawsuit, Mosey, when they got to the point where the Texas Supreme Court and the Texas courts had agreed that no, this is a lawsuit that's going forward, and that's right when you have him by the you-know-whats.
Oh yeah.
And, boom, it disappeared, because there's no way he will ever show up for something like that. As a matter of fact, my prediction is if he ever got ordered to do that, he'd just go on the free winds, or he'd go to some country where it doesn't be, he'd go out of the country. He would avoid it that way.
Well, I just saw something on X from Aaron Smith Levin, where he was talking about the one of the bigwigs from Scientology they were shipped out to Africa, and he had a photo of him with a woman who apparently is Miscavige's right-hand person, or someone who knows him directly. Now,
did you say Ithaca, like Ithaca, New York?
No, Africa.
Africa. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it now. I saw it and I was just like, wow, that's crazy that they
must have lost in musical chairs.
I'm gonna try to pull. Oh, here we go.
Exactly.
All right, I found it finally. I'm not completely competent with this stuff, but here we go. Yeah. Let's see here. Today, William Guide Scientology audit on YouTube captured on film a Scientology executive who David Miscavige shipped off to Africa to keep him away from U.S. authorities. Tyrone Webb, seen here with Molly Hortling, another senior executive who reports directly to Miscavige. Do you know either of those names, Mark?
No, those long after I was there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know who the guy is, but that's a pretty interesting thing. Hey, learning what's going on. And Inquad, tell me if I'm saying it wrong. I don't want to butcher your name up. Inquad Cadez. Wow. He's saying if he'd been seen yesterday, he can be returned. So if he was seen yesterday, he could have
returned. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. Learning about life from showing up from Austin. Hey, get over and say hi to Joe Rogan for me. So, Ted S. Well, heading to bed, but all right. Thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. Oh, man.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, Alex.
Oh, here we go.
I was just going to say the other big news next week. Apparently, I saw on Alex's site that Scientology is going to open their Paris Ideal Organization.
Wow.
The renovations and everything's been done, and that I don't know if Miscavige is going to show up for it. I doubt it because Scientology has been convicted of fraud there before.
Yeah. Let's see. Aaron said he was sent to Africa to avoid him being sent to court or something like that. Yeah, that was what the pretty much the text said was they shipped him out to, and I don't know either way. But the thing is that that's what Aaron was reporting is that they shipped him out to avoid the authorities. So let's see. Alex, my computer is going to explode with all this suppression on my screen. How do I sign up to the BTSSB course? Well, what might really help you is, there is an event that they're putting together that I think just might do you 3 days away, get you down to Mexico. Mark, you got anything to say about that?
Yeah, no, we're planning a cruise. We've got dates chosen in March. We've reached out to different content creators to get some commitments in terms of who's going to go. And then we're going to broadly announce it to anybody, our viewers or whatever, if they want to join us. It's going to be a cruise out of Long Beach, California for 3 days down to Ensenada, Mexico. And it's just basically a meet and greet type of cruise. There's nothing special planned, but and really it's not a big deal going to Ensenada. I've been there a couple of times on cruises and stuff, but it's really just, hang out, socialize, eat some good food, have a few drinks, and just get to know everybody. And so far, myself and Janice are going to be going on it. We have some other friends that were in the Sea organization that are going to go, and John Poe and his lovely wife, I'm sure they've said that they want to go. And Alex is looking to see if he can do it. We're just trying to finalize the dates exactly and get the commitments, and then we'll do a big broad announcement about it. But it'll be fun. It's not expensive. It's really not. If you think about a 3-day weekend,
We had such
all
a
your
fun
food
time.
and room and everything taken care of, and entertainment, it's all free.
Oh, yeah. And that's the nice thing about those cruises. Everything's taken care of. And since I don't drink, it's not going to be a problem for me. So I'm not going
Me
to be
neither.
bar. So, we had such a fun time. Alex and I had worked on trying to put together the SPTV Fest. And
Right.
oh my gosh, I could not get any place that was near Clearwater, Florida to even think about hosting it there once they found out what was going on with it.
Right.
And you've got to tell them, you've got to give them an outline of what's going on and all that. And then when they find out, oh no, we don't want nothing to do with that. So,
Well, that's why we're just organizing up a group of friends, and then we'll just go and hang out, and that type of thing is not like an official event, but you'll be able to, talk to us, rub elbows with different people, hang out, see shows, swim, go work out, that type of thing. So there's lots to do. And that's basically the idea. And like I said, we wanted to do something that was not super expensive, but that
Right.
people could enjoy. So we'll
And
see.
like you
I
said,
think Janice will get a lot of people to go. She's got a lot of former Sea Org member friends. I
yeah,
think
and
they'll get
she's
going
so
too.
mean. She's just going to tell them you're going. So I know how she is. But no, it's like you said, and every one of us is going to get some amazing content from the.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It'll be really great. It's going to be a good time. I'm really looking forward to it. I know the wife's been wanting to do a cruise, so that'll be something good. And Alex says he's looking forward to it as long as it's not Tom.
What does that mean?
I believe he's Captain Tommy.
Oh, yeah, Tom Cruise.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Funny.
All right, I didn't get that either. It's that British humor. What do you expect?
Yeah.
I know.
Let's see here. Sweet Liberty, I found 3 great restaurants in Long Beach if you are interested. I am, always. And I know a guy who has a travel channel that does a lot of stuff mostly about Vegas, but I'm sure that person would be very interested in it. So,
Yeah, that's me, and my channel is Las Vegas Travel and More, and you can subscribe to my channel. We're actually streaming there right now, and it's at mfisherlv. The at mfisherlv is the address. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. I just went over 1,000 hours of view time, and it's just 3 months old now. But yeah, no, I do videos on Las Vegas and different travel. I did a video with Alex about my trip to London. I'm going to do one with you, John, about Japan and
Oh, yeah.
Southeast Asia, that type of thing. And it's a fun channel. So if you guys would like to see some fun, see something that breaks up the monotony every once in a while, go to Las Vegas Travel and More at M Fisher LV. I would greatly appreciate it.
And if you need any more convincing, folks, just to sweeten the pot, Clearwater Chad, that's me. I'm subscribed to Mark's channel. So
am I.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there you go. There's the link at the bottom of the screen there for everybody. So make sure you get on over there if you're not already if you haven't already subscribed, keep that love going. We've all got a lot of interests that, I know Scientology and the SPTV verse have been a big part of all of our channels, but we all have other interests that are in it. You see it with mine, with the DIY, the crafting, the reviews of equipment and tools and things like that. Mark, you've got the travel and those things. I also delve into that. Chad is running for Emperor of the World.
That's true.
Chad.
Yep. Frank Amadeo. Frank, when his character is a disbarred attorney that's taken over the world, folks. If you guys want to see those videos.
Hey, listen here, Grand Theft 2, and welcome Grand Theft Hoopty. Chad needs a cruise. He lives in Buffalo. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, we're going to get the information out to everybody, and then we'll see what we can get together. I was just going to say, we put out, thanks, Learning About Life. I appreciate it. I did a video on the 5 best restaurants in Chinatown. We have a Chinatown in Las Vegas, believe it or not, on Spring Mountain Road. And I did a short little 5-minute, 8-minute video on the 5 best Chinese restaurants. And it got a few views and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's taken off over the last 2 weeks. Like, it went from like 150 views to now over 3,000 views.
That's awesome.
Over the last 2-3 weeks. All of a sudden, it's just people started watching it, I guess, who come over here because, how it is. YouTube algorithm will grab it, and people are coming to Vegas and they want to know, where can I get good Chinese food? So,
And I've started noticing on mine, an uptick on the views on my prior videos as well, especially a lot of the travel videos. I'm starting to get a lot of comments on them. So that's great. Chad, Alex wants to know, why do you need to run for Emperor of the World? He thought you already were.
Well, it's not Chad, it's Frank Amadeo, folks. And Frank's a real guy, by the way. This guy, Matt Cox, wrote a book about him. It's a real guy. He really did this. He really went to the Congo and tried to take over, but the government didn't like it, folks. So the government drugged him and threw him in jail, folks.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. And Sweet Liberty, what about seafood restaurants? I'm a huge seafood addict. So if you got good seafood restaurants out there that you know of in Long Beach, let me know, because I love seafood.
Yeah.
What about you, Mark?
I love seafood too. I mean, pardon me?
I was going to say, how about you, Chad?
I don't really like seafood, but I eat most other food.
Okay. So now you've got a lot of good ones in Vegas, don't you, Mark?
Yeah, we do. I haven't been to seafood places. Like, for me, seafood these days is sushi, Japanese sushi restaurants. Mm-hmm. And I like that, right? But we used to have some really great seafood restaurants, and I'm sure there still are. We used to have I don't even know if it's still there. There was a buffet at the Rio Hotel that was a seafood buffet, right? Wow. But it was like $35, $40 back in the day. And they'd have lobster, crab legs.
Knows how it is now.
But now just going to a regular buffet is $50, $60. I mean, it's not the days of the $5.99 all you can eat, lunch buffet, and the $8.99 all you can eat dinner buffet. Those are long gone. They don't exist here in Las Vegas anymore.
And we had, with us, last time we went, we had tried to get the same thing. That we'd done the last time, which was they had a pass where you could go to multiple buffets in a 24-hour period.
Mm-hmm.
When we did it that was 20 years ago, and it was $30 then for 24 hours, and they had like 10 different buffets you could go to. Now they're down to like 4 or 5, and it's like $65 to $70 a person. So
that's right.
It's crazy.
They closed them all down during COVID. They closed all of them down. And then a lot of them just decided not to reopen.
Yeah. And what I found amazing was we went to, the Caesars, and we went out to all the big hotel casinos there. And we found that the ones down off of Fremont Street had some of the best buffets that we could see, the old style ones. So
Yeah. I see Tamber June says that there's a lot of crawfish places. Yeah, I think she's in Las Vegas here too. Yes, there
Oh,
are.
okay.
There's a chain called Hot and Juicy Crawfish, and they've
Oh,
got
okay.
like 5 or 6 locations here in Las Vegas, and they're great. And not only can you get crawfish there, you can get shrimp and other kind mussels and other kinds of seafood like that. And you can get them to various degrees of spiciness.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but like also in Chinatown, like a lot of these Chinese restaurants, I mean, they've got tanks with lobsters in them and this
Oh,
and
yeah,
that. So
yeah.
that you can get it Asian style. They have lots of seafood places. So
Oh, Harbor House Cafe. That sounds good. How close is Sunset to Long Beach?
I don't know actually.
I know nothing about California, to be honest with you. I've been to LA. I've been down there on the border of Tijuana, crossing over and all that. Um, but yeah, I don't know it. You got something there, Chad?
Oh no, I'm good.
Let's see. We have been for lunch here, and okay. Oh, have a bunch. Yeah, I bet in Southern California you have some amazing ones. I don't know if you ever got to do it, but last time I was in Bangkok, I went to a place that was run by the Thai military, and it was a big open air seafood buffet. And I mean, this place sat thousands of people, and it was under, one of those tin roofs that was arced and everything, almost like a Quonset hut kind of roof. And you go up, and as you're up there, it's military personnel doing all the cooking and getting everything ready for you. And while you're sitting there, you see boats coming up on the canal there that this is sitting on, and they're literally unloading boatloads of fish while you're there. They're processing them and cooking them up and putting them right out. I mean, you can't get much fresher than that. It was
No.
fantastic. And it came down to like $5 a person, all you could eat seafood buffet. So, Chad, I got to get you over there to Thailand, man. I'm telling you, the lobster, all of that is insane.
Very tempting, Paul.
Plus, it's inexpensive. It's inexpensive in
It's
comparison.
even better.
Oh yeah. Well, it's I've talked about it. Hey, Joel McCoy's here. Welcome.
Hey, Joel.
I've talked about it before, but they're right down the street from me. I did a video about there was a lady who she does smoothies on the roadside there, and Mark, you'll know it. They call it Sukhumvit Road, which is the main road that runs through Bangkok. And the side streets are numbered, so you'll say Sukhumvit 31, Sukhumvit 95, whatever. Well, Sukhumvit 93 is known for an amazing array of the street vendors, the street food vendors there. I actually did a video doing a night run for food, but there was a lady who was right. I was on Sukhumvit 95-1 was where my Airbnb was, and I would go down every morning. This lady would go down. She lived down by the Samat Prakan, down by the ocean there, about 30 miles outside of Bangkok. Every morning she'd get up about 3 o'clock, go out on the beach, pick up coast coconuts that had fallen overnight, load them up into her little 3-wheeled scooter that she had, ride that into Bangkok, would break them all open, pull all the meat out of them and everything, and she'd use that for coconut smoothies. And I'd go down every morning, get a coconut smoothie that was bigger than a big gulp, go right across the street. There was a guy who had fresh soups that he was making, pork, beef, chicken, whatever you wanted. They were all different kinds of noodles and everything. And I was paying less than $1.50 every day for that breakfast. And the food was amazing. Let's see. Question about Leah. Do you think she'll settle out of court if they make an offer? I have a feeling she's more about getting the word out. I agree. Mark, what's your thoughts? I don't think she's going to settle.
No, I completely agree. She doesn't need the money.
No.
You know what I mean? But, I think, she will stand her ground, but that's easy to say. I mean, I thought there were other people that were going to stand their ground too, and they basically got offered enough that they went, it's not worth my time anymore, But I know that Leah, she's bound and determined. I don't think she's going to give in.
I don't see her doing that either, because I don't see them being able to get her to submit to an NDA.
Right.
And, and like you said, she doesn't need the money. So, I mean, it would have to be some big time cash to get her to agree to something like that. So,
yeah. And there'd be a lot of strings attached to it if like even the people that they settle with now, my understanding is there's lots of strings attached whereby, oh, well, we'll pay you X amount of dollars, but we're going to pay you it out X amount per year as long as you abide by the different strings and requirements that we ask for. So there are people who are basically being paid, yearly, and they don't say anything because they don't want to interrupt that income.
And we know how good Leah is at being told to shut up. So
yeah,
it just makes her go stronger.
Well, yeah, she's like a Saiyan or something.
Yeah.
Joel McQueen, Mark, you want to explain that? Your throat.
Oh yeah. Well, as I said before, when we first started, it's 42 degrees here, and I got the door open for Misha, and it's windy, so it's cold. So I bundled up here tonight. Otherwise I'd have my Hawaiian shirt on. But I'm afraid I would just turn into a big popsicle.
Poor thing. I mean, it's. When we're down under the 20s all the time here. Let's see, granted, Leah's cojones are bigger than a coconut smoothie. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, nothing but love for Leah. I mean, you have someone that has that kind of, she's just not going to give up on her principles.
And she's got a huge megaphone. So she, like when she says something, the press picks it up immediately and they go for it. I thought it was interesting too, though. I forgot the Masterson Rico, that got picked up, that story. It got put out by Aaron and Tony Ortega and all that. But like 3 days later, I actually saw it. It was on Fox News. They actually picked it up. Like, not all mainstream media places picked it up, but Fox News, which has a lot of people, they had the story on their website and stuff about the RICO charges with Leah's lawsuit.
Yeah, and that's one of the things about it is the tide is really turning. For a long time, it seemed like any news outlet was afraid to do anything about Scientology because they were afraid of the lawsuits, they were afraid of the fair gaming and all that. But it seems like, with Leah and everything that's been going on with her, and then with the SPTV community also putting it out there, they can't just scare people off like they used to.
No,
I think it's coming time that there's going to be a lot of reparations going to be made on this one. So
yeah.
Joel says it's 20 here in Colorado. I don't feel sorry for you, Mark.
Yeah, I understand. Listen, I'm a complete wuss when it comes to this stuff. I used to, lived on the East Coast years ago, and it was not a big deal. But you get used to the Hawaiian shirt life, and all of a sudden you're frozen.
I get cold and I have to come in and sometimes just take a hot shower just because I feel like I can't get my body to warm up anymore. So,
yeah.
Chad, you're in pretty much a similar situation out there where you're at, so you know how bad it gets.
Oh, it gets cold. Yep. Yeah.
Oh man.
Absolutely.
How's that hybrid doing with the cold weather? How's the batteries doing that?
Batteries are fine, but it takes, just like any car, it takes a hit with the fuel economy if you want to run the heater.
Yeah. Did you see that the Chinese manufacturer of electric vehicles has finally surpassed Tesla in number of cars sold?
I did. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't know that. What is their car that they produce?
Give me one.
I forgot the name of it, but I think that's good because I don't like I don't like Teslas. They don't disclose all their stuff with their repair act stuff. They don't make it. They want people to go to their shops.
Yeah,
exactly. Go ahead.
It's the BYD company.
I've never heard of it. They don't sell them here in the U.S. They just sell them in China.
Oh no, they sell them in Europe also. But I don't believe that they're cleared for sale in the United States. But
I'm reading the Elon Musk biography by Walter Isaacson. I listen to books on tape, and I'm about halfway, 3/4 of the way through it. It's excellent because I didn't know much about him other than just, he does all these cool things. But they're telling all the stories about SpaceX and about Tesla and when it was about to go under and all that. And basically, at one point in Tesla, when it first started on the S model or whatever, he wanted that Fremont plant to produce 5,000 cars a week. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to survive. Yeah. And he basically dove into the manufacturing process and went down the manufacturing line. And things that were slowing things down, he would demand that they come up with a solution to make it faster and easier. And he basically streamlined it to the point where they got up to 5,000 cars a week and then up to 8,000 cars a week, right? And then they have facilities now, I understand, in China and also in Europe. But I looked up Tesla. They sell like almost over 1 million cars a year now. I mean, and we're talking just 2016, 2017, where they were just getting off the ground. So they're selling a lot of cars. I've never been in a Tesla. Now I'm starting to learn the different things just by reading the book, in terms of the different models that I see out there.
We've been looking for the wife. She wanted to get an electric vehicle because she has the courier service. So the current car that she has is a 2009 Ford Focus. We got it because it's cheap. It has great gas mileage. In 20 months, she put 160,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
So, we need something that's going to be able to handle that. But the problem we're having is we can't find an EV that's going to handle the kind of miles she puts on in a day.
Yeah.
And
I drive part-time here in Vegas, right? And I have a 2016 Ford Fusion, right? Well, I'm at 260,000 miles on it now.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, well, should I get a new car at this point? I do about 38,000 miles a year. And I thought, I'm going to go ahead and push it to 300 because the car still looks great. And I have to get things fixed on it. Like I just had to do a couple of repairs on it. But I thought, with the price of cars right now, particularly used cars, I'm better off just holding on to it as long as I can. But I put a lot of miles on it, so I know what you're talking about.
I've been looking at different, because I want a truck. I always like having a truck. I feel that, getting myself caught without a truck and I need to haul things, I need to have that there. So we've been looking for trucks for me. But when you're looking at like F-150s, the Silverados, the Ram 1500s, and they're starting in the $50,000 range. To me, that's just ridiculous that they're charging that much money for these vehicles. And I don't know about how it is there, Chad, but here in Michigan, you see people with a truck that's 3 years old and it's already got rust bubbling around the wheel wells.
Oh, for sure.
I'm sure as the world not getting a Jeep, they're notorious for how quickly they rust out.
Yep.
So, but for me, it looks like we're going to end up just, my preference is I always want an older one, but as we've been talking before, we want to get a travel trailer and we just want to start nomading and just checking out things around the country. Also, it helps with getting some content for travel and everything. So I need something like an F-150 or a 1500 that's going to be able to haul something like that. So, we're kind of stuck in what we're going to have to get for now. We're going to have to end up paying the money for one of those, new trucks. And I really don't want to go that route. But
Janice has a Tesla Y model, which is like, she says it's the SUV, and I've seen it. I've sat in it. It's got really big doors. You can get in and out of it very easily, but it doesn't look like an SUV. It looks like a car.
It looks like those crossovers, like the BMW X6 and those where
it's got more curved lines to it. Yeah, with the bubble top, but she loves it, And I didn't even know that you could autopilot a Tesla until my mechanic friend who worked on my car told me, he goes, "Have you ridden in a Tesla where on autopilot?" I said, "No." I said, "That's crazy." And he goes, "It's unbelievable." And I'm like going, I don't know that I would trust a car like that. I don't think I would trust a car that much to like not put my hands on it and just let it drive.
Well, I'll tell you, I've been watching a lot with this about the BYD company, how it had surpassed Tesla in sales. But there's a channel out there that I watch every once in a while, and it's called the China Show. And there are two guys that I believe that each one had spent like 12 years in China, the other had spent 10 years in China, and they report on a lot of things out of China now. But the big thing is one of the things they're finding is that the BYD cars, the electric cars over there, are blowing up. There's literally videos. There's one out right now of an EV out of China that the batteries blew on it while it was charging. It knocked it 15 to 20 foot in the air. And that's some frightening stuff. And you see those things catching on fire. You can't just run up and pour water on them. You gotta have the right stuff.
Chad, you mentioned, I think if you have a Tesla, it has to go to a Tesla service center, right? Because there's batteries, and then there's no transmission and no motor, right? It's
right,
just the
and they won't.
batteries.
Yep. Sorry to cut you off. They won't sell. They won't sell it to you. You have to prove it's your car. Give them the VIN. They're very anti do it yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The right to repair stuff doesn't play well with that. But yeah, there's a guy who has a YouTube channel where he actually bought a what do they call it, a total Tesla. It had been in a flood or something like that, and now he'd come back and he put the car back together, and he had bought another Tesla to use parts from that, put it all together. Tesla will not recognize it. He had to go through and have the programming in it and all the coding and all changed so he could just drive it. Hey, Marshawn, what's going on? And Pamela, yeah. You know what? I watched that show for some reason. Those guys got me hooked in on that daggone China show. Let's see. Tampa, we're saving up for a mid-size SUV over here. I'm in a wheelchair. We have puppies, so we need the room. I hear you. With us, our kids are grown. They're out of the house, so we don't even need like the quad cabs or the crew cabs or anything like that. Unfortunately, it's almost impossible to buy a truck nowadays that isn't. But we don't need all the space for everything. It's the wife, Roscoe, and me, and we're going to be pulling a camper. So, and yeah, we miss you too, Marjan, and thank you for the call the other day. It was it really meant something to me that you called, and it was that you're calling and checking up. So, Michael, thank you for joining us. My wife has 5. She loves it. Besides local travel, her distance drives are to our daughter's place in San Jose and Donner Lake. I have no idea where Donner Lake is. We're in the middle near Auburn, California. The 3 places have chargers. That's pretty good. I thought that one of the big things, Michael, was that they just didn't have the grid capacity there in California to keep a lot of these electric vehicles going with that. But I'm glad that you got
Auburn, California is up near Sacramento and up in that area.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Tesla 5. Let's see. Is that? Oh, is that the Tesla Model S? Might be the Model S. Yeah, those are slick looking cars. Let me get it up there so everybody can see it. But yeah, I like those Teslas.
I gotta say something though. I'm listening to this vehicle. Yeah, that is cool. I mean, the insides are really amazing, and the different computer and stuff that they can do and all that's pretty wild. I started looking at maybe I get an electric vehicle, right? But I have 2 things working against me. Number one, I live in a condominium, so I don't have like access to like just plug in here at my house to charge my vehicle. So then it becomes, well, where do I go get charging, and how long does it actually take? And then the other thing is that the range is only like 300 and something miles. Well, if I want to drive to Los Angeles, that means I've got to stop and recharge. And if I want to go on a road trip, it's not real convenient yet. So those are the things working against it for me.
Yeah, I understood. Yeah. Well, like with us, we were looking at, like I said, we were looking to get the wife a Tesla or an EV. And one of the things about it was we were going to have to put in one of those 220 volt charging stations here, because she's going to, what if she's got an emergency call in and she has to leave right back out? We can't have one of those 20-hour charges going. But I think Clearwater over there is more of the expert on the EVs than us. So
no, you guys are pretty much right on point with that stuff. They're not for everyone. I mean, I kind of got around a lot of this stuff, but a lot of this stuff is inconvenient, and they're not for everyone yet.
Right.
Not yet.
Yeah.
But now Janice, her husband, when they bought their house, they decided to go solar. So they have a full solar power system on their house, including the batteries. I guess you have to have batteries to store. And then Janice can park her Tesla in the garage, plug in, and charges up. It's always charged. It's never a problem
for that. Yeah, I have solar on my house too. So
that's what I was about to say. Yeah, you were telling us about how you had solar that helped to charge your EV that you had, didn't you?
Yeah, pretty much same. Except I never got the 220 because it's it's an added expense if you don't need it.
Oh yeah.
You know, I was going to make a comment about Elon Musk because, like I said, I'm reading the book, and you know, he had cooperated and was interviewed as well as his wives and his family members and his employees. So it's like a fully researched book, and he was able to respond to things, right? But he has similarities. I hate to say this, and I don't know if this is just something. His similarities the way that David Miscavige gets things done, unfortunately.
Really?
Which is that he threatens people. He basically sets an impossible target. You know what I mean? We need to get this done in 10 days, and we're going to work around the clock until you do. Right. Or I want your resignation in the morning. You know what I mean? And he does that on a routine basis. Now, they have achieved, just like Miscavige, they've achieved targets.
Oh yeah.
But it's all through fear and threat, as opposed to encouraging people and figuring out what to do. Now, there's other things that he's way ahead. I mean, he's not like Miscavige in other ways, right? But he's always a problem solver. It's really amazing, you know, because like his whole manufacturing line, like he goes like Steve Jobs, you know, was known for he'd come up with these big ideas and how to do it, but then he'd leave the manufacturing to China or something like that, right?
Right.
No, Elon Musk dives right in. Like I said, he's an engineer and he knows more about the line than the people that are actually running it. And so if there's something slows, he just dives in and fixes it. And that's why his companies are very efficient, including SpaceX, you know, but he has that tendency where, and then he'll forget about it the next day. Like he'll get angry at somebody and tell them, you know, you need to get this done or you'll be replaced. Then the next day you see him and he's just like, oh yeah, everything's fine, you know?
Yeah. You know, I mean, but the fact is he's gotten incredible things done.
Oh, amazing. That's why I'm a total fan in terms of what his goal is, you know. The reason he wants to go to Mars is he wants to make it so that, you know, if this planet ever can't support life, they've already got a pathway to another planet. Same thing with his solar power and solar engines, you know, or the electric vehicles, is that he wants to make sure that the planet survives and all that. And it's funny because he's not just some left wing or left, earth hugger or tree hugger or anything like that. He's a practical about these things. He's very conservative about a lot of other things. But I find it pretty interesting. That's why I wanted to read the book.
I just saw a special about him where he was trying to figure out how to. Basically, there's a YouTube channel where they take cars and they take them apart. And they had taken apart one of the Teslas and said it looked like it was a patchwork quilt with the way all the body panels come together. And he took that personally, and he was sitting at his desk. He looks down and there's a little Hot Wheels car there. And he's looking at it, how it's all cast in one piece out of aluminum. And he says, why can't I do this?
Why can't we do this? I saw that in the book, same thing.
Yeah.
He goes, why can't we do that?
He built the world's first aluminum injection molding machine that makes half the car at a time.
Right.
I mean, the kind of technology that's coming out of him. I mean, goodness, we saw the movies from the 50s, 60s, 70s where you'd see the rockets take off, and then when they come down, they land straight up and down. People thought that was impossible. He made it happen. It's just crazy stuff. Whether you like the guy or not, you can't say that he's not hyper intelligent.
No, and the thing is that, like you mentioned that story, right? Most people go like, oh, well, that's too expensive to make a machine because he had to make a machine. There were people we can't make that machine. And he found a company that could make that machine, that could make that big chassis or whatever the heck it was, right? Yeah. And he's willing to spend the money. Do you know what I mean?
Because in the long run, it's going to save him a ton.
Right. That's the way he looks at it, you know.
Here's something, Pamela Crawford. I have a wheelchair accessible van. There's no way I can afford a new one. They cost $100,000.
Wow.
You know what gets me is these companies make so much money. You would think they would, in situations like that, you have someone who is in a wheelchair, needs that there would be some kind of incentive, at least from the federal government, so that you could afford to have a newer vehicle.
Exactly.
That's just a shame. That's one of the things I really hate about how the society does with things.
Sorry.
Ooh, Chad. There you go. Waiting for Elon's
My
new
mouse
perfume to
is
come out. Eau de Musk
Nice.
Musk. That sounds like some Griff Calzone kind of perfume there, don't it?
They probably will. They probably will do the perfume.
I mean, get you away from that high karate. You'd be awesome, man. So.
I wear Jupe, Poe.
What is it?
Jupe, Joop.
Man, I what is it? There's a company that does like the beard care stuff. My son's got a huge bushy beard, and so we got him some stuff from a company called Everyman Jack, and they do a sandalwood kind of cologne. My wife, she melts for that, so that's what I use. That or
Nice.
she gets me like the what is it, Obsession or something like that also. So yeah.
That's funny.
Miscavige wears dupe, not jupe.
It actually doesn't wear anything because they don't believe in scents.
Oh wow! I was wondering.
Unscented. Everything unscented. You know.
Oh wow.
So boring.
Yeah, I get, but I hate it though. You ever been around people like you can smell them 10 feet before they after they leave? That
it's just
either way, whether it's the natural body smell or it's too much cologne or perfume.
Too much.
Yeah. I used to worry when I was working the streets. You know, we would get into situations where I'd have to arrest, either a man or a woman. And they were so covered in either perfume or cologne, and especially when it came to the perfume, how do I explain this going home to my wife? I'm coming home smelling like I'm coming out of a French brothel, but, how do you, so.
Well, we have this situation here because marijuana is legal here. I get people that I pick up sometimes, take to work, and they get in my car and their clothes smells like they just smoked for like the last 2 hours. Even cigarettes, sometimes they smell like it. And then I got to get the smell out of my car. So I have to carry air freshener spray to spray it because it's like, I can't stand that smell.
The thing is that since I've retired, I've made no bones about it. We enjoy the herb, but we're on the edibles. We don't deal with the fresh greens on it. And one of the reasons for that is because the way you smell. That you just and a lot of people take a real offense to that smell. And even here in Michigan, where it's legal for recreational,
I think there's only two smells worse than that to me. You can guess what they are, but I can't stand the smell either. And what blows my mind is that people go to work like that, and they go like, your employees, your boss, everybody's going to smell it on you. You know what I mean?
You're not noticing it because it's it's what you're around all the time. Yeah. Let's see here. A mini car air purifier would do great, especially if you drove people around. Timbre, this is the kind of thing that if someone came up with an idea like that, they should go out there and see about putting it together, because I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in that. So, hint. Let's see.
Yes, I agree.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, my goodness.
Yeah, that was here in Las Vegas. Did you see that?
I've seen that too.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, my God.
Let's see. We'll see if we can pull that up. Yeah. Man, that was.
I was going to say, do you think those marshals are like on alert now? Like anytime somebody's in court, the marshals that are in the court to protect the judge and everything?
That was so fast.
Let me go ahead and pull that up. Man, I saw that. I was just like, dude. But I'm not surprised that it happened, to be honest with you. I mean, some of these judges, you got to be careful. So I'm going to cut the sound out. But wasn't he being sentenced for like 30 years?
No. He had a public defender, and the public defender recommended that he basically be probation for whatever it was that he did, right? And the judge basically said, no, with your prior record, blah, 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 I don't agree with this plea. It was a plea agreement between the prosecution and the defense. And so she was going to put him in jail, and that's when he jumped over the thing.
That's insane. But I know some judges. I am so surprised that people haven't done that to them. Some of these judges, with their whole attitude and everything, it's surprising no one's tried to get them. And
No, I totally agree.
but this guy, he was out on bond, uh, or he was on probation for the same charge from like a year ago. So that even made the news there. Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah,
big.
we have crazy stuff happening in Vegas. Unfortunately, a couple weeks ago, some
Mhm.
guy killed his wife and his mother, and stole a patrol car when they showed up, and then drove and was in a high speed chase to the other part of the valley, right? And then he got out of the car, and then he carjacked another car, killing the driver,
Oh, that's
whose
crazy.
wife and young kids were in the back seat,
Yeah,
and told them to get out of the car, and drove off. And then they eventually got in a shootout with the police, and the guy died.
and he was
People are
unalive.
crazy.
Yeah, it's
People are crazy.
crazy.
I mean, it really is. It's very sad.
I'm going to be doing a live stream probably this week. There's
Mhm.
an insane car chase out of California where this guy actually steals like 3 or 4 different cars during the chase. They spike strip him, they do all these different things, and then they just back off, leave him be. Got the helicopter following him. He'll crash a vehicle, jump into another vehicle, and keep going, and just keeps taunting them the whole way. I'm just like, this is insane.
Yeah.
And the complete lack of respect people have anymore is ridiculous. And it's not just the lack of respect for law enforcement, but it's a lack of respect for your fellow human beings. Because when you do something like that, how many lives are you putting at risk? And the selfishness, man. Let's see here. The judge realized it was coming. Yeah, I was looking at it. Yeah, like you said, the eyes. I saw her, and she had that oh boy kind of look in her face when he started coming at her. I was like, man, if she'd had better reflexes, she'd been out of there. Let's see, One Love 51,000. I don't understand what pushes people over that edge. I don't get it. I think that there's a lot of, if you look at the YouTuber Johnny Somali, have you guys heard about him?
No.
He's a YouTuber or a TikToker or something like that. But he does a lot of things where he goes out and he'll intentionally antagonize people. And he just does crazy things. Well, he's been in Japan and he's been doing a bunch of stuff in Japan where he's just being absolutely disrespectful, trying to start fights with people and all that. And he videotaped breaking into a construction site. If I remember correctly, they did a live stream going into a construction site they weren't supposed to be in, and laughing about it and all that, wearing masks and everything. And next thing you know, he's now in jail in Japan, and he's looking at like 3 years for what he was doing. But what's bad is the damage he's done to other international YouTubers and live streamers that are over there in Japan now. And it's bad. Going into that, I'm sure you guys heard about the earthquake in Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. It was, I believe, 7.6. Let's see, powerful earthquake rocks Japan. Nearly 100,000 residents ordered to evacuate. The bad thing about this is how the media has covered it. They say, they're talking about the earthquake in Japan, but what they're not talking about is the fact that this earthquake was felt only on the western side of Japan.
Right.
It's like there being an earthquake in Texas, and they call it the Texas earthquake, but the earthquake happened in Austin, or it happened over in Galveston.
Right. And in California, it'd be like LA or, with San Fernando Valley, not California earthquake. Yeah.
But
what's crazy about that? Japan is an earthquake zone. I mean, it's for centuries they've had earthquakes. It's not something new for them, right? And that's one of the reasons why they used to build all their buildings out of wood and before World War II, out of wood and paper and things like that, so that if there was an earthquake, they could quickly rebuild. But then, of course, fire was a big problem. But
exactly.
But I actually, when I was in Kyoto, when I went to Kyoto on, passing through and was sightseeing and stuff like that, I woke up in the morning and I was in my hotel having breakfast, and an earthquake went off while we were in there. And it just, I've been through earthquakes in California, and it's kind of unsettling for a minute, and then it ends, right? But this was a big one. And the Japanese people that were there, they just carried on. That like it was like common everyday occurrence.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, KK, we've been hitting on a bunch of different things tonight. We started off with talking about news from Scientology and things that are going on, and right now we're talking about the earthquake that just occurred in Japan. And it was actually on I believe it was the northwest side of Japan is where it happened. Friends of mine that live in Tokyo, all they felt was the after effects, and they didn't feel the actual earthquake itself. They felt a small aftershock from the earthquake.
We feel them here in Las Vegas when they're in California, and we've had apparently earthquakes here too. But like if there's a big earthquake in parts of Southern California, we will feel them here.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I talked to my, like I said, I talked to friends that live in Tokyo, my friends in Osaka and in Hokkaido's Sapporo region. They felt nothing, but the folks in Tokyo, they were feeling the aftershocks from it, but there's no real concern there. But like you were saying, the biggest danger after an earthquake are the fires.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of these buildings will drop. There's actually video of a home that was built before all of the earthquake requirements came in on buildings, and this whole house collapsed, and it resulted in a big fire. Well, when fire departments can't get to the scenes because of all the damage, the devastation, everybody that's out and fleeing, that's the biggest danger. That's where they say most lives are lost, or during the fires from these big things.
Yeah.
So, and Chad, Apostate Alex says, I'd love to visit Japan one day. Let me know, Alex, man. I'm always down for
mine too. I want to as well again.
Yeah, we'll do something up. We'll go to Japan, stay 2 or 3 days in Japan, go over to Thailand, stay about 2 or 3 days in Thailand, maybe make it down to Singapore, let you see what that's like. But it's a great time. The food you're going to get in Tokyo is just amazing. Then, and Mark, once you get over into Thailand, the food over there, ooh. So
it's funny. I got to tell you though, I have never eaten street food in Thailand. Now, the next time I go, I will. I always was afraid of the hygiene, right? But then I've learned after watching all these videos and television shows and stuff like that, they go like, there's nothing wrong with the food, as far as hygiene goes. But like, it's so cheap, you know what I mean? Like I always eat in a restaurant, and then you don't know where the food's coming from in the restaurant, to be honest with you, right? But like, they sit on the side of the street and they eat, and they get like a full meal for like $1.50. I mean, it's really cheap, but the food's really good.
Yeah, and this is actually from my my video that's in, if you go to my channel, and that's the midnight street food run, and it was just it give you an idea. I mean, it's there's some stuff you're gonna try there that is going to be different than anything you've tried before, but I love the street food in Thailand. Just amazing stuff. Like here, these are all different kinds of meatballs that they're serving. I didn't get the hot dogs. I mean, I can get hot dogs at home, but the rest of it, you got pork, beef, chicken, fish, just amazing stuff. And this lady sits there and she fries it right up. So if you're worried about, it's all sitting there on ice. You can literally put your hand up. It's very cold to the touch. And most of these folks are going out, like the people who are serving at night, they're going out at like 7, 8 o'clock at night, and they're buying their supplies for the day, and they're getting it frozen. They keep it on ice there, and then they literally deep fry it. And I when I got back to my Airbnb, there we go, 29 cents per skewer of meat there.
Right.
Let's see, Mandy, take Alex to COS to see if you guys will get 5 steps in the door, unlike last time you went. Yeah, so much fun. When I got told I had to leave the Scientology org in Tokyo.
Oh, you did? I didn't know that story.
Oh, I'll tell you in just a second here. It was a fun one. One Love 51,000, and never knew that's why Japanese houses were traditionally wooden until Mark said that. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
they have very strict guidelines in Japan for new home construction, new building construction, those kinds of things. That they have to be able to withstand certain categories of earthquakes, and it's they're very strict about those things because they're in the middle of an earthquake. They call it the Ring of Fire, don't they?
Yeah, and that happens quite often.
Yeah. So they get a lot of earthquakes there. I've been there. I've felt aftershocks while I've been there. And I'll tell you, you talk about make you pee your pants. That when the whole earth starts moving, that's some scary stuff for you. So.
I'll tell you, we had earthquakes at the Gilman Hot Springs at the Scientology secret location for the international management. We had them there from time to California because our property had a fault line, running nearby, right? But I'll never forget one time at night. It was like, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night or whatever. Miscavige's office and my office, they were old motel villas. They were like, motel units, one room with a bathroom, and then they had connecting doors, and we made those offices, right? So every office had a bathroom. It just was like a motel unit. Outside was this paved patio, like paved concrete, and it was about 20 feet wide and about, the length of the building long. And that was the patio area, right? And it was connected and all that. So I'll never forget one time I walked out there and an earthquake was going on. And it was like that piece of concrete that we were on was like a surfboard. Yeah. I felt like I looked left and right and it was moving just like a surfboard. It was amazing.
I think that was in Akihabara in Tokyo, where the electronics district is, where the Sega game rooms and all that are. And we were walking down the street. And I was talking to someone, and they were asking me about the yellow lines of concrete that go down every sidewalk in Tokyo. And I was explaining to them that that's for people who have vision impairment, and they literally walk down those lines, and they can run if they have to use a cane to be able to hear where they're going. That's exactly what that's for. And that's why if you'll notice when you're in Japan, you see it here in America now, and you see it in a lot of other countries. But you'll walk up and you can hear the crosswalk signs. You can hear them.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And those are for the people who are vision impaired, so that they know when they can cross the street and when it's safe or not. And I just remember that the aftershock came through, and oh my goodness, you talk about it was hard to actually stand, and just like I said, absolutely terrifying that it was going on. So.
Yeah,
it's I know what you're talking about there. But leading into that, I don't know if you guys have heard about, there was a crash at Haneda Airport in Tokyo.
Japan Airlines.
Yeah. It was Japan Airlines crash. And what it was a Japanese Coast Guard plane was taking off to render aid to those from the earthquake, and they had 6 crew members on board. And right now they're trying to figure out, I haven't heard the last of it, I've been waiting for it, but basically they're not able to right now tell if it was an air traffic controller who didn't give them the proper instructions, or if they weren't properly heard. I know that listening to the chatter on the radio, and they speak in the what's basically called the International Universal Language of English for their air traffic controllers, but basically the plane that was with the Japanese Coast Guard was supposed to hold tight just before the runway on one of the side entries to the runway itself, and apparently they'd actually rolled out onto the runway, and the crew of the Japan Airlines Airbus, there was no way they could see them middle of the night, and they literally came in and hit them head on. It actually ended up with five members of the 6-member crew of the Coast Guard plane didn't make it, but everyone who was on board of the airliner was able to make it off safely.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that was amazing. They got everybody off the airliner. Nobody perished in that. And then planes caught fire, I guess, right?
Yeah, and then if you look at that, you saw that plane literally melting. It's mostly a composite, and I understand composite, fiberglass, and aluminum build, but mostly composite on the body itself. So, I mean, when that starts going up, it's like any other kind of plastic or resin fire that there is. It just goes.
Yeah.
But they did a great job. The nose wheel on the plane was literally folded up underneath of it, but they were still able to get all of the passengers off safely. And in true form, the captain of the plane was the last to leave the plane after he'd made his checks and made sure everybody else was off. So, you know, he was put in a situation that you hope would never happen, but he did a fantastic job. So did the crew. They got everyone off safely. Our prayers are with the families of those who didn't make it, that were part of the Coast Guard plane. But,
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's scary stuff, but it's one of the busiest airports in the world, and I'm just surprised that. I think that's a testament in and of itself of the capabilities of the staff at the airport, how well they are able to maintain that. So
Now, what's the deal right now with the 737s here in the U.S. being grounded? I haven't really followed the news on that. What is going on?
that was the next one I was going to bring up, and it leads right into that. And the FAA has temporarily grounded quite a few of the Boeing 737 MAX 9s. What happened was, apparently one of them was taking off, and the safety exit door, actually blew out of the plane. And the good thing about it is they were only, they had just taken off, so they were able to swing back around and safely land the plane. But in lieu of that, the FAA has ordered most of the 737 MAX 9s to be temporarily grounded so that they can inspect
Figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and that's I'm trying to figure out where that actually happened. I just read about that. I know it was an Alaska Airlines flight. Let's see here. We're taking a look down through here. 171 planes are grounded. Wow, that's quite a few. They'll tell you how many, and those are not cheap planes. Let's see here, and it still doesn't show where it happened at. If anybody knows, make sure to throw that in the comments for us. Let's see. No, that still doesn't show it. But basically, there's video out there of folks who were in the plane that took video from their cell phones, and you could see the door wide open. And you can see the plane you can see it actually turning around and going back to the airport. And that was pretty interesting stuff. I'm still
Sweet Liberty says the FAA is actually asking the public to see if they can find the door, obviously, which flew out.
Let's see. Here in the New York Times, I'll pull that up for you guys. It says here. There we go. Okay, it says that, let's see, Portland, Oregon, made an emergency landing at Portland, Oregon, after a hole opened up in the plane while it was in flight. Let's see, it goes into more about it had taken off from Portland, Oregon, and it was an Alaska Airlines flight bound for Ontario, California. They returned to Portland, Oregon about 20 minutes after takeoff. No one on board was seriously injured. Those on board described a wind blowing through a gaping hole that showed the night sky and the city lights below.
Wow.
I don't know about you, that freaked me out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you would think that pressure would be gone, like they'd have the masks out and everything else too.
That was the video actually showed the folks that were in the plane. They had you could see that the mask had dropped down. Let's see if we can show there's some video on it out there. Let's see. Okay, here we go. And this is from WFAA. I don't know who that is, but we'll bring this up, and you can see the actual. Let's get that going. You can see the masks have dropped. You can see the tubes hanging down there and everything. Let's see. There you see a still image looking out the door after they landed. It looks like the whole panel around the door let go as well.
Yeah.
There was a video that I saw where you could literally see the night sky out there. And you can
I would think that when they take that emergency window, it was an emergency window,
there
right?
it is. I think that was an emergency exit door.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If because that whole panel would come out like a door, because you got to have big enough for people to get through. It's not like just a window going out. Do you know what I mean?
It's oh, here. Let's see, from Mandy. It's called a door plug. It's not an actual door. Okay.
Mhm.
I thought that those had like a compression thing on it that blew them out. That so that when they had like an emergency landing, like the plane in Haneda, where they had to put out the slides and everything. Let's see here. From Boda OMG, when they first reported a window blew out, and then I saw the picture, and was like, that's a whole side of the plane. It's interesting stuff. I can tell you, C-130s, when that back end comes down, believe me, you feel it. Crazy stuff. You talk about a real different kind of life there. Thinking no one got hurt because everyone was buckled into their seat due to just taking off, and therefore the pressure of the door coming off. I've got to look into that, because I know that there are some videos that are like Mythbusters and things like that, where they talk about the decompression. I don't think they were high enough in altitude for it to be as much of a problem as we would think with the decompression and everything. Let's see here. Yeah, that's, you always wear your seatbelt on the plane. That's and I've noticed, like, doing almost all of my flights as of late have been international flights. So I'm usually leaving out of Chicago or Toronto, but pretty much you're, unless there is a, something, you're getting up, go to the restroom or something like that, I almost always have my seatbelts on. So,
me too. Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen.
Yep.
Let's see. This is a channel about, we do a whole lot of different stuff. We started off talking about what's going on in Scientology, Danny Masterson, things like that, and then we go into different things. It's
Cars, travel,
cars, all that. Not just a one-trick pony. So, if you got a topic you'd like to talk about, throw it up there. We happy to have you here joining us tonight. Haven't been able to do a lot of live streams. Have had a lot of things going on, so we've been, just trying to get a whole bunch of information compressed into a short amount of time tonight. So
we're back.
How about movies? Should we talk about? I told you I saw. Now it's going out of my head. What's that?
Equalizer 3.
Equalizer 3 on Netflix. I saw that last night with Denzel Washington. It's an excellent movie. Action packed. And beautiful scenery in Italy. Oh, I really enjoyed it.
I have so much respect for Denzel. I think he's an amazing actor, number one. But when you hear him talking in real life and his personal views and opinions, I'm impressed with him just all the way around. I think he's not only one of the best actors there's ever been, but I think he is also he's an amazing person. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Chad, have you seen any of the Equalizer movies with Denzel?
No, unfortunately not, Poe.
What?
Oh, you'll really enjoy them. It's based off the TV series. I don't know if you ever saw the TV series.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot more graphic, that's for sure. But
a lot more graphic, yeah.
It's a really, really good series. I saw the first two, and we've got Netflix, so we're definitely looking at watching that. Just got to find the right time. But yeah, I mean, when I heard when I saw your posting, I think it was on Facebook, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I was like,
last night I watched it. How about, did you see that movie on Netflix called Leave the World Behind?
I heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's good. It's definitely a mystery. You don't know what the heck is going on.
Oh, wow.
And then at the end, when you find out what's going on, you go like, yeah, something like that could possibly happen here.
Is that the people in the Airbnb?
Yes.
Okay.
In the Hamptons, a very, very wealthy they go to an Airbnb, and all of a sudden, not only is the power grid out, but internet is out, and there's no way of communicating. And what do people do? We've gotten so addicted to our phones and the internet and power. right? And yeah, it's pretty bizarre, pretty wild as to what's actually happening,
Oh yeah.
But they keep you in mystery, and it's really good. It's kind of like going, wow, that's really weird.
Let's see here. An interesting fact to know: emergency exit doors on planes open inward, not outward. Good to
Mhm.
know if you. Wow, I didn't know that. Because
Yeah.
I normally like to sit by those. Now I know they open inward. I'm going to stay a little
Yeah,
clear.
you got to pull them out. They want you to pull them out and then turn it and push it out so people can get out of the window.
Wow. Let's see. See people. Yeah, people were calm on the plane that was on fire in Japan, and it seemed like it was the same with the Alaska Air flight with the 737. Uh, that I think that comes down to a good crew. They're going to be able to keep everybody calm, keep them seated, and go through everything. Like I said, they got everybody off that plane in no time flat, and before that plane actually burnt down. There's video where you can see the engine on the right side of it is still running while on fire.
Yeah.
They got everybody out. It was great. Um, let's see here, Tammy. I'm talking about even the flight attendants had their seatbelts on if the plane is taking off. Yeah, once over 10,000 feet, they're up. You know what? The flight attendants, I think, are some of the most overworked, underrated people that there are. I mean, here it is. We're sitting there going through huge turbulence in these planes. They're still back there getting the drink cart ready, things like that. They sit there, they put up with, I mean, especially these hoppers that are going to like Vegas and places like that with all the people who get intoxicated and just act so out of control. I really hand it to the flight attendants. They're good people. Um, Especially, I can tell you, Japan Airlines, ANA, they have just been wonderful to me. Even
They're amazing.
Air,
Yeah.
yeah. The last time when I went to Malaysia, I flew Malaysia Air from Tokyo to Kuala Lumpur. I got to say that was right on par with Japan Airlines and ANA. They were just
Mhm.
amazing people. And the food, ooh, you know. Let's see. Let's see. I am also watching The Equalizer with Queen Latifah. I really like it.
Yeah, it's currently a TV show with Queen Latifah, but there was a
Oh,
show in the 80s with a guy named
yeah.
Edward Woodward. Edward Woodward is a British actor.
Yep.
But Denzel's done 3 movies about this. And basically, the guy's I'm not giving anything away, really. He's an like government agent who's
Yep.
basically an equalizer. He's a guy who sees things that are wrong and he goes and corrects them. That's why he's the equalizer.
Yeah, I think he does. He does an amazing job with it.
Yeah.
And it's canon. It's already out there. It's been out there since the first movie that he's a former U.S. operative,
Yeah.
and and he's a guy who his wife passed away, and he's just
Mhm.
been dealing with that, and he's been living this existence, trying to be the person he promised her he would be. So it's an amazing series. Of course,
Yeah.
I personally have you noticed that the first 3 John Wicks are now on Netflix?
Yes, I've only seen 2 of them, and I
Cool.
haven't seen number 3 yet.
Last
I'm late to John Wick. I watched the first one about a year or so ago, and then I watched the second one on HBO about a month or 2 ago, and so I haven't done 3. I mean, yeah, the body count. I mean, I saw online, what's the body count in the John Wick movies, and it's like
Oh,
two
I
or three
couldn't tell you.
hundred. They actually have exactly how many, and it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah.
What I find amazing is here it is. We're all cheering for a professional assassin who is taking out revenge on people, and I think everybody is so enthralled by it because of the dog.
Yeah.
And then the storyline with his wife and all that. Me personally, I don't care. They can make a John Wick's 32 as long as they got Keanu in it and they keep it on the same storyline. I'll watch the stuff.
Yeah.
So, Chad, have you watched any new stuff lately, or?
No, I don't really get a chance to watch many movies, Poe.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about being retired. I got time. I
Nice.
put out a review. I went and saw Godzilla -1, first movie I've seen this year, and oh my goodness, I personally think it is the top movie of 2023. It's basically a remake of the original Godzilla movie, and the writing of this one, the human plot line. If they took Godzilla out of it, the human plot line is amazing in this movie. I think
Who's in it besides Godzilla?
they're all Japanese actors and actresses.
Okay.
With the original Godzilla, it came out in 1954, and it was an all Japanese cast. It was doing so well in the United States that they redid it with Raymond Burr starring in it. And so they reshot a lot of it with Raymond Burr as the main character in it, so it would go over better with the American audience. But I mean, people were just, you know how it is. People are enthralled by Godzilla. I got a quick clip here we'll show from it. This is the atomic.
Yeah, I think you would be a little bit like, I'm done. Everything's over now.
That was amazing. As a matter of fact, my daughter and I are talking. We're going to go back and see it again. It was so good. I can't wait till it comes out. I've talked about it before. I refuse to buy digital downloads anymore because so many of these companies are coming back and saying, "Well, you paid X amount of dollars to own this, and it's supposed to be yours in your library, but our contract's expired with the company, so we're taking it back." And so I want to see it on an HD DVD or something like that. I'm not about to watch it on I'll watch it on digital download, but I'm not going to buy it. And then I don't know, but along those lines, I have found the scariest kaiju of the Godzilla movies, and we caught a rare clip of it that I'm going to show you now. So hope you're ready for it. And what that is Ryota. She was the first woman ever to work in a Godzilla movie within one of the costumes there. And to hear that, because you're used to the Godzilla roar and all that, and hear, my kids showed that to me, and I thought that was hilarious. Oh, let's see. I saw Star Wars, the original New Hope, in the theaters when it came out, and absolutely blew my mind. I was a huge fan. I love the Mandalorian with Baby Yoda in it and all that. Matter of fact, I was showing Chad earlier.
Nice.
And I'm so mad about that. I mean, on the box, it looked like the real Baby Yoda and everything, and then it's this plastic piece of crap. But I like the new Star Trek movies that have come out as of late. And with Chris Pine, is that who is starring in them? I really like those. I think that they bring a whole new depth and feel to the Star Wars franchise. My wife and I were big fans of the Captain Picard and his group. I forget which one that is, but we like those.
Star Trek Next Generation.
There it is. Yeah. But for me, Star Wars has a special place because my uncle took me to see it when I was just a kid, and it's just been it's been something that holds a special place in my heart. So Star Wars, yeah. Let's see. Did anyone see Wonka? I never know if I should see a remake because in this case, it's a prequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I would also like to see Godzilla. I have not seen Wonka. It just looks too. I don't know. I'm spoiled by the Gene Wilder.
That's the one I saw.
A great movie
when I was a kid.
Yeah,
and I thought it was strange when I was a kid. I just never saw it again.
The Johnny Depp one was unique in its own way, but it wasn't a really Wonka to me. After seeing Gene Wilder and the way that he portrayed Willy Wonka, that was just amazing to me. So. No, I haven't. Have any of you guys rode Rise of the Resistance at either of the Disney parks?
No,
I haven't. I'm not a big fan of Disney. I just don't like the direction things are going with Star Wars and all that. I thought that when they did Star Wars Rogue One, I thought that was amazing. That was fan fiction that they brought into a movie, and it I thought it was a great movie. I just haven't liked the new storylines, and I don't like a lot of the offshoots that they're doing. Mandalorian, I absolutely loved, but I'm not, I'm not a big person on going and riding the rides connected with movies and things like that. We did the Harry Potter stuff. That was really cool at Universal. But for me, throw me out a 300-400 foot coaster, bunch of loops and turns. I'm happy with that. So, what about you guys? I haven't.
No, I'm the same way. I'm not really into. I love the original Star Wars, of course, right? But I never got into the additional ones. I tried watching some of the newer ones, and I thought they were kind of repetitive of the earlier ones, like they were trying to do them new. And I think, in my opinion, a lot of the Star Wars stuff, that because Disney has it, they've kind of kiddified it. Do you know what I mean? Like there's characters that like, oh, we can sell merchandise for this to the kids, and that it's not the Darth Vader and the stormtroopers and the that type of thing story. It became more of kiddified. So it's not for me. I'm sure there's other people that really like it. Like the Disney Channel, I tried watching The Mandalorian. I couldn't get through it. It just wasn't my cup of tea.
I was impressed with The Mandalorian. I liked it. I saw it up to where the Luke Skywalker came in. The reveal of Luke Skywalker when he took the baby away with him. I forget the name now, but that was, to me, I thought that was great. I just don't like a lot. Like you said, I feel that one of the things with Disney is it seems like they're not really coming up with anything new.
No.
It seems like they're just redoing a lot of the old stuff. They're making live actions, or they're remaking the entire film, or making, sequels to them. And none of that, the kids were stuck on Disney stuff like crazy growing up. But nowadays, it's not, I don't see any quality in it.
I'm the wrong person to ask though too, because I don't like any of the superhero movies. I don't even go see them. They're all the same to me. They're all some evil guy who's going to destroy the world, and then there's all these buildings destroyed, and the superhero comes and saves the day along with the Avengers and this and that.
How much more powerful can these superheroes get?
Well, I know that's what I'm saying. To me, they're repetitive. Like I liked comic books when I was a kid. I read Spider-Man. I read those things, right? But there's so many of them now, and there are so many superheroes that it's just to me, it's just over, and it's all computer graphic, stuff. It's not like the original Star Wars was real special effects, not computer generated, And so to me, I liked it much better.
Star Wars literally broke the mold when they came out. I mean, nothing had been out like that. A lot of people say that Star Wars is based off of the Dune novels. I don't know. I'm a big fan of the Dune movies, so either way, I'm happy with them. Let's see. I'm with the Gene Wilder genre. Also, did not watch the Johnny Depp one.
I agree.
I watched the Johnny Depp one. Just I'm actually a fan of Johnny Depp and a lot of his work, but when I saw that, it left such a foul taste in my mouth from about the way they did it. Let's see here. Forgive me, for Star Wars folks, but I am a Star Trek. I tried to watch the Star Wars movies, but I can't stand old movies. Sorry, can't stand the first Star Trek series either. But I do the new one, and that's I didn't like the original Star Trek series.
Oh, I loved it.
Did you?
As a kid, I was a kid watching it. It was pretty cool.
And see, for me, that was Godzilla and Star Wars. I can remember actually going to the drive-in with my dad and seeing a Godzilla movie first run at the drive-in, and then getting to see other Godzilla movies at the movie theaters and such. And top it all off was being able to take my son to see Godzilla in Tokyo. That's one of the highlights of my life.
That's great.
So let's see here. I like Mandalorian too, but Star Wars fans tell me that it is not Star Wars-y, really. I think it's a sci-fi movie. To me, it's like the Matthew Broderick Godzilla. I don't think that's a Godzilla movie. I think it's a kaiju movie, and a lot of us call it Geno, Godzilla in name only. So I agree with you on that. That yeah, Mandalorian may not be a Star Trek kind of series, but I like it as a sci-fi series. So, and I'm one of those. I like stupid series. Mystery Science Theater 3000 is one of my favorite shows out there. So I like this. I like the corny stuff. Let's see. Hey, Deviant. How lucky am I? Lucky enough to come home after a 24-hour unplanned vacation to the ER to find you live. That's how lucky I am. Well, I don't know about that ER visit, how lucky that is. How are you doing? So, wow. That's,
Yeah, I hope you're okay.
Yeah, I hope everything's good with you. And sorry you had to be there 24 hours. Goodness. But, lately I have been at the hospital more than I want. And that's, my friend who was recently diagnosed and he's just, being out there at the hospital, going over, making sure everything's good with him and all that. So yeah, I know the feeling. So let's see. And someone agrees with you about the Star Wars and all that, about Star Trek, about growing up with it and everything. So that's some pretty, to me, because I didn't grow up with the original Star Wars and all that, it was to me, I didn't find it entertaining. It seemed so slow and so, I had more fun watching Gilligan's Island than I did Star Trek. So, that Hogan's
Heroes. Navy.
Oh yeah,
Tales Navy,
that was another good one. We just watched what was it, Mother Goose, the movie that was out about World War II, where the guy has to go and they're doing these radio outposts in the Pacific Islands, and he gets there and there's a woman who's watching over all these French schoolgirls. And he basically, as it's a love story as it builds up, and how he goes from this crotchety guy who drinks a fifth of whiskey a day to being a father figure to all these young ladies. Absolutely, I think it was Rock Hudson may have been in that one, but yeah, it was that. We love those kinds of movies.
Yeah.
The old Dom Knotts movies, we love those things.
I just discovered, there's a channel called Freevee, or Freeveee. Anyway, when I was a kid, when I'm talking like 9-10 years old, after school at 4:00 on the weekdays, we'd come home to watch Dark Shadows. Have you ever heard of Dark Shadows?
Yeah.
It was a soap opera, but about vampires, right? And we got hooked on. Anyway, I found it on Freevee, and I started watching it last week, like from the very first episode, and they're only like 20 minutes long because they're very short. But I watched like about 4 or 5 of them and went, oh man, this is just like my childhood. I remember that,
The Ghost and Mr. Chicken.
I remember that.
Yeah. That was, as a matter of fact, the wife and I just watched that recently. We bought the actual box set of the Carol Burnett show. There's some of the funniest moments I've ever seen were some of the stuff from Carol Burnett. Where he's doing the dentist thing and he stabs himself with the Novocaine in his arms and legs and everything. That's just Tim Conway. That was just the masterpiece kind of work there. But yeah, that's I saw the Apple Dumpling Gang, Escape to Witch Mountain.
Well, you're really a Don Knotts fan. How about the incredible Mr. Limpet? Talked to animated fish.
Yeah. But those were things we saw when I was growing up, and we'd go down for the matinees on Saturdays, and you'd get the Apple Dumpling Gangs, Escape to Witch Mountain, those kinds of movies that were all out at that time. Remember going to the drive-in theater with my family and seeing Smokey and the Bandit.
Wow.
Excellent movie, Poe.
Yeah.
It's still a great movie. It was actually on today.
I know why Chad likes it, but it's got the Trans Am in it.
Yeah, it does. 77 Trans Am.
It's an amazing. Yeah, I still, that movie holds up today. It is so funny.
Oh yeah,
it's just a great movie. Yeah,
I don't think
I've watched some of the 80s. I've watched movies from the 80s, comedies and stuff.
Oh yeah,
and they don't hold up anymore. But there are some that do, and Smokey and the Bandit, which was in the 70s, that definitely holds up.
Oh yeah,
he gets that Diablo sandwich.
Yeah.
Jackie Gleason was hilarious in that movie.
Oh my goodness.
I love his son, Daddy.
Oh yeah, yeah. What was it?
Yeah, he was
You left
great.
it out, Daddy.
Daddy, I think the top came off. Well, I wished your head was with it. You know,
There you go, going like, when we get home, remind me to punch your mama in the mouth.
yeah. There's no way you came from my loins. Let's see. I recently watched Hee Haw shows. Oh yeah, yeah. That's that.
Yeah, but when I was a kid watching Hee Haw, you were watching for the hot girls that would pop out of the corn stacks and stuff.
Yeah. That was, let's see here. What we got? Question. Hi, Mark. Hey, Norman. How's it going? Did you leave before or after the 1993 tax exemption?
Me, I left before 1990.
How did that feel when you heard the announcement about they had gotten it? You know?
I mean, that's what they were trying to do to protect Hubbard and protect themselves. I think it was a key turning point because basically then Miscavige, after the IRS, they basically policed and monitored them for a few years, and then once that monitoring period was over, then it was spend money any way he wanted.
Wow. Yeah, and what they did to those folks from the IRS, my goodness. Running full page ads in newspapers, disgracing these people.
You know what's amazing though to me is that it was successful.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Scientology and you wanted tax exemption, it worked.
Yeah.
So my question is, why haven't other people who have wanted, tax exemption or whatever, why haven't they done the same thing?
I think like someone was saying earlier about Leah and the cojones. I mean, the kind of the to go against the IRS and target people within the IRS. Wow. You got a pair, that's for sure.
Yep.
Let's see. Who saw the disaster movies of the 70s? Earthquake.
I saw Poseidon Adventure. That was a good movie.
I've seen every one of those, and to me, I was a kid. There wasn't enough action. They took too long. But yeah, I remember seeing every one of those movies. How about you, Chad?
I think the viewers at home can agree immediately, Poe, that everyone should be watching Knight Rider right now after the show.
Let's see. Wow, I'm sorry to hear that, Marshawn. Robert got COVID in November. Wow, is he doing okay now? Let us know. A lot of us have been over that. I don't know if you want to go into that or not, Mark. About
I mean, it's just I was not involved in the Aftermath Foundation other than donating money like everybody else, and it was their business. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're still all my friends, Aaron and Mark and Claire and Mike and all that. But it's kind of like it was. I'm sorry that it happened. Let's just put it that way. I'm sorry that there's friendships that were dissolved because of it, and it's just a shame.
I agree 100% with that.
Too.
And Theta, thank you for joining us. And thank you, Marshawn. Robert is doing good and home now. That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Somebody mentioned Jaws, and I was going to say, Jaws, hands down, is the scariest movie I have ever seen. And the reason I say that is because before, when I was a kid, I would go in the ocean and not think twice about what was under the water. But even now, if I stick my toe in the water, I'm aware of what's going around me because, I'm afraid of sharks. You know what I mean? And it happens. They show those videos or the helicopter shots of the beaches in Florida, and there's swarms of sharks just offshore. It freaks me out. And Jaws ruined the beach for me.
Oh yeah. I couldn't go swimming in a swimming pool for years after that. Yeah. I'm trying to find one of those videos. Man, that's crazy stuff. They show those.
I'm gonna have to check out of here shortly. I don't know how much longer you want to go.
We're just gonna go a little bit longer here. It's
okay.
We're getting. Oh yeah, we're almost at the 2-hour mark now. So
I gotta make myself a Diablo sandwich pretty soon.
Dr. Pepper and a Diablo sandwich.
Look at that. Sharks coming.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. The shark's just right there.
That's in Australia, but I've seen them in Florida with the big hammerheads and things like that. Yeah, I mean that stuff had me so freaked out when I was younger. I mean, as I got older, I lost a lot of the fear, but I wouldn't even go in a swimming pool. If I was by myself, there was no way I was going in because Jaws had me so scared I just couldn't figure out. Oh man, whew. I remember taking the kids to Universal, and they had the Jaws boat ride there.
Yeah, that's fun.
The kids were freaked out. You couldn't get them on that thing again. Let's see. Sorry that you're late getting in here, Theta, but you're here.
Great to see you.
I like Marjan. I saw Jaws at the movies when I was a kid, and oh my gosh, the damage that did. My uncle laughed at me so much that he thought it was hilarious how good he had scared me. Deviant, thank you all. I'm much better today, sir. Surveillance. I'm not really there or here yet, but on my way. Can walk and communicate. Just very slow and tired. Never give up. Never give in. Absolutely. Those who know me know that there's been, my body's been through a lot of things. So that's one thing I can say is that you can't give up. That's how you. A lot. I've seen people that have been victims of gun wounds get shot in the hand and not survive. I've seen people get shot in the chest and in the head and walk away from it. So I think it all comes down to who you are and your actual, your strength. So never give up. Close Encounters. Yeah, that was another one that freaked a lot of people out.
I thought that was a cool movie.
How about Ridley Scott, Alien, the original?
Oh yeah, that was. But he also mentioned Spielberg's first movie, Duel. Did you ever see that? That was a scary movie. Oh yeah, it was about Dennis. We starred Dennis Weaver. It was a movie of the week. It was actually on television, and it basically he's on this desert road highway or whatever, and he somehow pisses off this trucker in a tanker.
I've seen it.
You never see the trucker, and the trucker runs him down on the road and is after him and will not stop. It's like the Terminator on the road, and you're on the edge of your seat.
If I remember correctly, they just did a remake of that too.
I don't know, but the original was that was one of Spielberg's first movies, I think.
Talking about that Godzilla movie, that movie was made with like a $15 million budget, and it's holding up with some of those $500 million budget movies that are coming out now. And you were talking about like the Marvel movies and all that. I liked like the Guardians of the Galaxy because they were fun.
Oh, I liked that. It was funny. It was funny. It was different. Same thing with what's the one with Ryan Reynolds? It's really funny.
Oh yeah, I was about to say Deadpool. Love Deadpool.
Deadpool's hilarious. Yeah. Oh yeah, I like that. It's a different take though.
Have you seen the Adam Project, the newest one he's got? I don't know if it's his newest one, but he's got one out, and there's a kid in that who is the younger version of him, and that kid nails how he acts and talks. It's hilarious. Let's see. Pamela, my husband grew up in Florida. He said they would go swimming in the ocean at night. They would get bumped, but were lucky not to get eaten. Well, that's when, especially like the bull sharks, that's their big thing. That's when they would when they're out and they're hunting. We would be in just north of Daytona Beach, and there's the intercoastal waterway there, and there's a place where it actually cuts out into the ocean. And so you have the bull sharks coming up in this brackish water up in there at night to feed. I've got videos on my Facebook page of dolphins swimming down that area. But I've caught 4 or 5 foot bull sharks right off the shore there with just a piece of shrimp on a hook. So, yeah. Let's see. Yep. Godzilla. I don't know if it was Godzilla started. No, it was Equalizer 3 started the movie conversation. But it's definitely worth it. Very definitely worth it. I loved it. What's that, Chad?
Oh, Jenny's here. Jenny Wong.
Oh, hey, Jenny. What's going on? There you go.
Hi.
Hey.
Great to
Thank
see
you
you.
very much for joining us. We appreciate having you. Oh, what do you guys think about that one? Creeks with water moccasin.
Yeah, see, I never really swam in creeks, but I always think about that in terms of like we used to swim in lakes in Virginia,
Mhm.
and that was not a big deal, and also in California. But like I didn't realize that there's alligators all over, like the South in Florida
Mhm.
and also in Texas. You got to be careful. There's alligators in some of the rivers and some of the lakes in Texas.
Yeah. There is a video. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, it is a crazy, crazy video where this family is fishing and this alligator is present. Um, Trying to find it real quick. My goodness, when I
Did,
saw that,
did,
it was crazy.
did you ever go to the crocodile farms in Thailand, the zoos and crocodile?
Most of them are closed now.
Well, in the zoos, I don't know. Last time I was, I used to go there, several times because they'd have, it was like almost a zoo. They'd have the
Oh yeah.
crocodiles, right? But then they'd also have elephants and tigers and different animals, right? But you could actually feed the crocodiles. You could buy raw chicken, and I have photos. I'll show you the photos sometime where I'm handing, you're holding out the raw chicken and dropping it down for them to eat.
Oh
It's
yeah.
amazing.
There's some video that I put up where I went. I think it was photos that I put up where I went to a. Let's see, is this it? Okay, I think I've found it. Let me pause it real quick. This one is crazy, and it'll show you how alligators, crocodiles, whatever you want to say, how easily they can sneak up on you and you don't know it. Let's get this bigger, and there we go. If you watch the canal there, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. So they're basically fishing on these canals there, and they've got the drain off tubes that go through the pipe there, the metal pipes and everything. And they're just trying to, like any family that's out there trying to fish. But as you watch, as they pan back, they didn't even know it was there. But that's a big, huge alligator sitting right there, and they didn't even see it till they were right on top of it. That's crazy.
Wow.
But that'll give you an idea. I mean, I've been out there, and I've been in those waters, been at the different places with the. Oh, Nasty Nathaniel's here. What's
Hey.
up? Yeah, I've got some photos from. There's a park just outside of Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia where it's free entry, and it's this huge lake, and it's just full of saltwater crocodiles. Every Sunday they come out and throw about 20, 30 chickens out. They're frozen thawed chickens, but they throw them out there to the crocs, let them eat. So nasty. So we're gonna have to get together, brother. Things are finally starting to slow down for me, and I'm able to start getting back on. So I'll get with you this week, brother.
I'm going to have to check out here.
Let's see here. Have any of you guys had alligator meat?
No.
Chad?
There's a restaurant here in Las Vegas that serves it.
Well, Chad left. Frank Amadeus here, folks. Future emperor of the world, folks.
Look, he's got the daggone shirt and tie on. I've had alligator. I've actually, when I had my barbecue catering company, I actually smoked out a 6-foot alligator in my smoker.
Mm.
So yeah, I've had it crocodile, alligator, monitor lizard. Pretty much it's snakes. I've been to those places in Asia where they take the cobras and all that. I've done all that stuff.
Snake wine. They had it in Vietnam. I saw it. Forget it.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you that actually gator meat's good stuff. So is rattlesnake. So,
I gotta check out.
I was about to say, folks, we're at over 2 hours now. We usually like to go about 2, but Mark, any parting comments before we head out?
No, just happy to be here. Hope everybody has a happy New Year and it's going well. And like I said, subscribe to channels. That always helps John and Chad and me. So yeah, thank you very much.
Chad?
This was a lot of fun, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, and good luck. Good luck on the Emperor campaign. That
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Mark.
As always, folks, thank you so very much for sharing your evening with us. Your time is valuable. We appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, life is short. We get one shot. Make it count.